Virgo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid December 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Virgo collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Virgos in early to mid-December? We're closing off 2025 soon, but what energies, messages, insights could we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you could lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Virgo in early to mid-December. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Very quick. Very first shuffle I just tried doing, this card flew right out, so we're going to take it. Now, this is an energy I often see around water signs, and it's an interesting piece of imagery. We see the lady, it looks like she's doing some yoga or stretching or meditating. It's a very sleepy type of energy for one reason or another. But before we fully dive into it, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the December subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this. So again, we already mentioned, we see her, she's kind of like doing some sort of yogic pose. It looks like she's having a little nap, a little snooze. Doesn't look super comfortable to me, but it feels very dreamy, very dreamlike. Now, in a good sense, this energy could represent intuition. It could represent interesting things in the dream state. It's very spiritual, very creative. So for a lot of you, all of those juices could be flowing, especially if you have water placements as well in your chart. Watch your energy levels too, especially with this card, because you might be feeling a little zapped or a little less energetic than you normally do here. There could be something important about dreams and sleep as well. That's something I always say about this. There's great energy around meditation. Reconnecting with your inner voice could be super important as well. So you see what I mean? We're in that creative, imaginative place. Now, the big downside to this card could sometimes represent overthinking. So watch that you're not too trapped in the head. I mean, it's easier said than done to get out of that energy, but there's great vibes towards putting that energy outward. So we're just going to let her chill. She could keep doing what she's doing. We will not disturb. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Virgo. And while we do, let's talk about last week's reading, because it was one of the more intriguing ones I've done for you in quite a while. There was a certain uniqueness to it. The reading was titled A Massive Omen 222. And for a lot of you, like, the reason was because I got 3 twos right in a row, two, 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 and I was just getting signs and synchronicities off the charts. So for a lot of you in this time, you probably still might be like receiving them, where they could be coming through numbers, synchronicities. It was just like signs, one after another after another. So we're going to see if that continues to show up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. Let's get 3 cards for Virgo here in early to mid December, please. Or Virgo, early to mid December. Thank you. Cool. All right. So we have the Fool card, nice Aries energy. I think it's okay. And sometimes this Fool card could get a little wild, but I think it's okay. Let's get a couple more. It's not. Let's just see. There's something about the energy where I'm analyzing it. Okay. Yeah. Here's that rest again. So we got the 4 of Swords. These 2 energies are completely opposite. I could tell you that. Like, the Fool card is ready and raring to go. This one's taking a little rest, a little break. Let's get one more. Let's see what we have here for Virgo. Please. Thank you. 9 of Cups. Cool. The energy does pick back up. So there's an interesting balance that we have in your reading this week, Virgo. And I can't wait to break it down. If I were to say how I'm feeling right now, it's cautiously optimistic about where the energy is heading. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know, I always like to look at elements first. It tells me how the energy is moving, areas of life that might be important. And we start off here with a lot of fire with the Fool card, big Aries energy. The first of the major arcana, it's off to the races. So normally this element is all about action, right? So the actions we take, the actions other people take, the internal combustion engine, our energy levels. So it's a very hot and steamy type of energy. Now, the downside to this card and the element itself is that there's an unpredictability to it. In the middle, we have air, which is extremely logical. It's plan based. It's very pragmatic. Um, it's extremely intelligent. That's the one thing I like about air energy, and it can represent the mindset, the mind state. Swords can be communication as well. We do have like this undertone of communication, messages, and talks, especially when we get back here to the Knight of Cups, which is water. And that's the realm of feelings and emotions, creativity, all that energy I was saying, that sleepy, watery energy. It's all back here on the end. Now, water can represent partnerships as well, but the downside to water is that it's always flowing. Sometimes it's very intense. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Fool card. So I already mentioned big Aries energy, first of the major arcana. It is off to the races. And you see him there. He's standing underneath the sun. He's got a big old smile on his face. Happy as happy can be. That's the one thing I really like about the Fool card. There's a certain jovial quality to it. It's lighthearted. So when I see it, I usually think it's fun. It's having a good time. It's cutting loose. Now, if you're not connected to an Aries, when I see this card, it's great for new, it's great for fresh, it's great for optimism and looking at the silver lining with something. So this is a pretty good card. Whether the energy's coming towards you or this is an energy you're stepping into, I usually like to take it as a positive. However, just like with every card, this does have its downsides. And I already alluded to it when we were speaking about the element because the same thing goes for the card. Notice the little puppy dog is trying to not let the fool go off a cliff, right? This energy can sometimes be very spontaneous. It can act before it thinks things through. So I don't want to say, oh, this is someone making a mistake just yet. I really want to look and see what else shows up. But it's just very spontaneous. So you might have certain urges in this time. You might be a lot more spontaneous than you normally are when this is here, or someone else might be. So we'll see. We're going to be cautiously optimistic about this Fool card. Now, moving to the center, total opposite. Whereas, like the Fool himself, full of energy, full of life, just moving in a very positive direction. We got the Four of Swords, which is really taking a rest, really taking a break. Now, I have seen this a lot throughout the whole zodiac this week. You're not alone here. Um, it does tie into meditation, praying, like all that reconnecting with the inner voice. Uh, all the things we spoke about with that first card are really encapsulated within this. It can represent needing a minute to rebuild yourself, to rebuild your energy. So, like when I see the Fool, that's ready and raring to go, then I see this Four of Swords, there's a certain energy drop off. So, watch out with certain situations that may be like going good, running hot, and then it's like, whoa, that dropped off real quick. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up here. Like the intensity turns way down. Now, for some of you, that might be a good thing. For some of you, maybe not. It really depends. The downside to the Four of Swords, aside from the rest and recuperation and the inner spiritual talk, it can represent blockages sometimes. It can represent, problems that are sticking around, situations. It can represent feeling stuck. So we're going to want to look at it further. Now, the thing that I really like is how we don't stay stuck here because the energy moving forward goes into the Knight of Cups, one of my favorite knights in the whole deck. Now, when it comes to knights, they represent action, like so the action, similar to the fire element, and communication. They're messengers, right? Especially this one, it's like I'm emotionally opening up, emotionally letting loose in one way or another. Now, if you're connected to a water sign, they could be represented by the Knight of Cups. It's usually a smooth talker, like personality traits I think of with the Knight of Cups: silky smooth, easy flowing, easy going, very chill type of vibe. So if you're embodying this, that's great. So we go from intense to very relaxed, laid back, and chill, which I think could be pretty good depending on the clarifiers. A huge card when it comes to love and partnerships. And yeah, there could be some sort of conversation that we want to peer into a little bit, a convo or a message. So still, I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to dive deeper on all of this, though. I mean, I didn't tell you really too much about the rough side. So before we dive deep, one thing about the Knight of Cups, um, watch out for anyone that plays off of your emotions in this time because I don't like to go worst case scenario, but sometimes the Knight of Cups can guilt people or try to make someone feel bad for them. So just watch out for stuff like that, or even emotional suppression too. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Virgo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to, this is where I go intuitive, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on this Fool. Let's see why the Fool is here. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Virgo, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Fool here for my good friends? Please. What's this action about? Thank you. Huh. There is like this little, either this is an extreme sense of caution that somebody has, or it's like regret. That's just how this feels to me intuitively. And of course, you only take it however it hits for you. But we have the Three of Swords in the upright underneath the Fool. And it's to me someone potentially regretting their actions. So I would say be cautious in this time, especially if you are having urges. Like, yeah, the Fool with the Three of Swords, it's like, damn, I should have thought that through. So watch out for mistakes. Now, I'm not saying that's you. This could be someone you're connected to that may feel like they acted before they thought. And that makes total sense to me. But this Three of Swords is kind of like a bummer. It's a bummer, especially with all this energy I was feeling on the top. I was feeling optimistic. I was feeling good. Now we got the Three of Swords underneath the Fool. For a portion of you, if we put that message about potential mistakes or regret to the side, when I see the Fool with the Three of Swords, it could be someone feeling very stuck, where it's like, I'm not, it's not moving the way I want it to, or this could be someone being hyper cautious about something. So we have some big extremes in the energy. The Fool card with the Three of Swords, I think caution, it's never a bad thing to be cautious, but it can be overdone from time to time. So I guess it depends on your story, really. So those are the main things I'm picking up here on the front. We're going to keep it very simple because there's still a lot to go. So we have the extreme caution. We have an energy around potential regret or someone not thinking something through. So it's all about striking a balance. Let's keep moving. Or the stuck feeling, the stuck. Let's go in on Four of Swords. Let's see what that has. Now I really want to get to that Knight of Cups on the back end. So why is that Four of Swords here? Thank you. Okay. Someone just needing to take a minute. There's nothing wrong with pacing yourself. So we have Lady Justice in reverse underneath the Four of Swords, where it's like, I just need a minute. I need a second. I need a minute. Everyone knows that Virgo is represented by the Hermit card, right? Now, in its positive sense, it's wise. There's a sense of solitude to it. So, like when I see the Four of Swords with Justice in reverse, it's like I need a minute to catch my breath, or I need a minute to get my bearings straight. That's just how it feels to me. So it does potentially feel like a break or a pause in one area. Now, is that the final story? Absolutely not. We still have more to go, and energy is very malleable. Remember that. It's important to not force things or pressure too much or be too hard on yourself. I know Virgos usually have very high standards for themselves. So, like when I see the Four of Swords with Justice in reverse, it's like, all right, well, be fair to yourself, be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself as well. But aside from that, it is a pause so someone could just get themselves right, if that's how that feels to me. And there is a healing to it as well. Don't rush it. There's no point in rushing it. No need to rush anything, really. But we're just going to keep going. And yeah, she's a karmic card, big Libra vibe. So we have like the Aries Libra axis showing up for some reason. Let's go in on the Knight of Cups. We'll see what he has. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. So it's not like a permanent blockage. It's not a permanent stoppage. It's more so of like taking a break, catching one's breath. Let's go in on the Knight of Cups. Very contemplative too, where someone's like really going within about something. Let's go in on the Knight. There's a lot to think about. That's something I'm feeling here. So why is the Knight of Cups in the mix? I do believe that sometimes, it's a time for action. It's a time to push things. All right, yeah, now the energy does come back around in a better state, that's for sure. So we have the Eight of Cups in reverse underneath the Knight of Cups. Yeah, that looks great. And I've been seeing this for a couple other signs. I think I saw it for Capricorn, where there does seem to be an energy that reemerges or returns in one way or another, but it comes back in a much better energy, if that makes sense. Now, again, that could be a situation, it could be a person, it could be a thought process. it's like I have this little pause, I have this little break, I have this little time to recalibrate, and then the energy comes in just super smooth. I really, really like this. Now, the Eight of Cups is not rushing it, especially in reverse, right? Usually in the upright, this energy is walking away. It's either going towards something, it's moving quick, it's abandoning these cups. When I see it in reverse, it's actually coming back around. So there is this good energy I see where it's like, this one was moving a little too quick. Let me slow it down. Now the energy is just right. So after this pause, this break, this slowdown, the energy is much better. So this feels more like a time of calibration in the center, like calibrating, recalibrating, and then the energy right here on the back end, it returns in a much more positive way. That's just how it feels to me, especially with the Knight of Cups. So there could be various things popping back up or returning, and that could be a message or a talk of some kind. But I like how it's going, especially here on the back end. I mean, if it's choppy waters all the way up to that result, that kind of sucks, but the result is good. That's what I'm focused on. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadows. So we have a lot of stuff showing up in the energy this week, Virgo. It's important to be kind to yourself, be patient, don't force anything. Position number one, we have the Fool card with the Three of Swords in the upright. So to me, this is someone that may feel a little bit of regret, may feel like they acted too hastily. So watch out for doing things before thinking them through, because it is someone that could potentially feel like they messed something up or made a mistake. There is also an overabundance of caution. So if we put that message to the side, it could be someone being extra, extra careful about something, where it's like, I don't want this Three of Swords again. I'm going to pull back, or I'm going to slow it down in a very big way. So nothing wrong with some caution. Uh, the urges are showing up here too. But moving to the middle, we have the Four of Swords with Lady Justice in reverse. So the pause, the break, the recalibration, needing a second to catch my breath, recuperating and healing. I think that's a good energy. And when we get to the back end, we're not looking at this as a challenge. We're looking at this as recalibrating for a more optimal result. On the back end, we have the Knight of Cups with the Eight of Cups in reverse. The energy kicks back in a much more optimal way. So there could be something that returns. So whether it's business, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, when it kicks back up, it's coming in a much more improved manner. So I like it. I think it's claimable on the back end. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Virgo? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get through one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. Quick, super quick. Yeah, the Empress, that's good. So yeah, there's more Taurus, Libra energy starting to show up here. So we do have a variety and a mixture of zodiac signs. So the one thing I love about the Empress, even in the shadows, and we will talk about her shadow side, to me she represents blessings and abundance. She's Venus energy. So there's a nurturing, loving, caring. So for some of you, whether that's something you're craving or offering, that's a good thing. And I just love her stability. I love her energy, especially paired with Virgo energy. It's really good. She could represent motherhood, mother figures, fertility in general. But the shadow side of the Empress is very much similar to what we have here in the center. It's an energy that could feel a little stuck. Okay, so just watch out for urges and feelings like that. Like, I'm cornered, my back's against the wall, something's not moving too quick, or something's not going how it's supposed to. It's important to be kind and loving to yourself as well. So I've been getting this message consistently with a lot of signs. Self-love, self-care, very, very important with the Empress. So I think she's good, but watch out for those feelings of treading water or feeling a little stuck. It's a little cabin fevery too. So we're just going to put her down right there, Virgo. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the December subscriber surprise. If you would like further clarification on your situation, you can book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My December schedule is live right now, and the spots go quick, so go check it out, see what's available if you want to have a chat with me. But for the December subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks for all skill levels, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's two simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards, which one do you resonate with most? When you see it in a reading, it's like, yeah, that's me. Put your answer in the comments. You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in the community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.